And my friends, we are back. Jacob, the last time we saw you in the year 2020, you leaped down an open hatch in the old log cabin in the middle of the woods. A bright white light shot up from the hatch, and you chased that light down to its source, following Jay, who had been pulled down the opening by some unseen force. You fall for what seems like minutes, long minutes, before the world goes dark around you. That light is snuffed. Before we begin, I'd like to start the final chapter of our game, our story, with a little exercise. Josh, will you do me a favor? Close your eyes and keep them closed if you don't mind until I ask you to open them again. I want you to think about a place as Jacob, a place where he felt safe when he was young, a place that he spent time in with other kids, his friends, his foster family. Tell me, what does it smell like in that place?
Like wood sap and fresh earth, like soil that's good for planting in, that has seen a lot of rainfall. Almost smells like a flower bed.
What do you see there? If you look around.
I see a tire swing hanging from a tree, and I see a sofa that was fly tipped by someone and just dumped off maybe the back of a truck, and it's amidst the woods, and it's bright, and there's no walls, and there is just this god-awful sofa, this couch, big two-seater, garishly pink, but really, really faded, like almost like a skin tone kind of pink, coated in like this terrible crushed velvet, and people are sat on it. I think Jay came. I think Jay came and was quiet the entire time and didn't play games with the rest of them. He didn't, join with them having drinks or pranking each other or taking it in turns on the tire swing. I think Jay just was quiet and brought a book to a hangout or something. Like he did something he did that just made it clear that he resented being invited, and he'd much rather be doing something else, probably something productive. But there's this memory of a moment, and it's a quiet moment, and the wind dies down, and the trees stop rustling, and Gigi is teaching Ren how to skip stones in the river. And there's no blood in the river, it's just the river. And Gigi is teaching her how to skip stones. And Meryl is the new kid who has tried to impress everyone. So he's brought like a load of stuff, just like food and snacks and stuff. He's cleaned out the local grocery store, and And Merrill is being brash and big and brave, and he's talking too loud and his voice echoes throughout all the trees. He's just this new guy that none of us know, but he's no one understands him yet. No one gets him. No one knows what his deal is yet, but Jacob knows he's okay. And he sat there watching all of them doing their own thing. And he is sat there, and then he hears footsteps, and he turns around, and it's late in the day, and as he turns and looks back down the path, he sees Staley walking towards him. And it's something about the light. It's something about the way that the wind suddenly picks up and it messes up her hair, and she has to like tuck a strand behind her ear. She pulls her beanie down tight. She pulls her hoodie closer around herself, and I think that's the moment when Jacob realized fully that he wasn't happy in this moment until she arrived. He wasn't complete. His world was askew. And then suddenly she just walks on up, and he has been sat on the periphery, like he can't talk to any of these people, like he's finding it awkward, he's finding himself, he knows all of them, but he doesn't know what to say, he doesn't know what to think. And then suddenly she's there, and suddenly he knows everything to say. He knows how to be a joker or an idiot, or he knows how to crack jokes or drink or play games or be brash, because for that moment he is unbreakable.
The wind at the end of summer feels cool on your skin. All those smells, all of those people. You can hear Ren laughing. She skips a stone over the river. And Staley's there with you. And Jacob, you hear footsteps behind you. When you turn around, you see yourself 10 years ago, standing there, looking at you. What do you look like?
What do I look like in 2010, or what do I look like in 2020?
10 years ago. How are you dressed? What do you look like?
Has a black No Fear hoodie on. It's far too heavy and old, and the zip's broken on it, and it's got bleach stains on it, and it's just this heavy duty grungy kind of hoodie. And underneath that he's wearing a Ramones top just like his dad wore. About the only thing they shared in common. And he has a pair of skinny jeans on, a pair of big combat boots, and his hair's a mess, and the only reason it isn't falling in his face is because it's tucked back and it's held in place by a big pair of headphones, and he's listening to something terrible, no doubt.
You see something else in your face too. You see all of the insecurities that you tried to hide from other people, all of the things you were afraid of. It's in every line, the way you stand, the way you move and posture. You recognize it, even if nobody else ever did. You recognize it. And right now, as you're looking at your younger self, Jacob, I want you to tell them one thing that you wish you could tell them more than anything else in the world.
He looks to himself and he looks around at all of them. And he remembers this moment. And he remembers what this moment coming to him. And he knows it isn't until days later it starts to become this thing that starts to... This thought, this memory, this place, it's sort of below the surface. And in a few days' time, the first shoots of green are going to poke through that soil, that fresh soil that he can smell all around him, that idea. And all he wants to do is grab himself and shake himself and tell him when he was a kid, pick up the phone. Please. Because they are all out there. And you don't have 10 years to wait. Call one of them. Call all of them. And for the sake of us both, call her. Make the most of it while you can. And don't get to where I am and just be filled with what could have been. Don't be standing where I am thinking of what you could have done. Because you'll still do it. Do it for all of us. Please, just pick up the phone.
Jacob, open your eyes. Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets. Some of them big, some of them small. A few of them terrifying. What is one thing that is true when Jacob opens his eyes?
He is in absolute darkness. And he is not falling like he thought he was. He is just there, floating. And there is no light around except the light that is directly in front of him. And he is not falling feet first towards it, but he is slowly being drawn towards it, as if he's falling forward, but his hair doesn't fall into his face. It's like he's suspended underwater. And something is drawing him in, this light. And whatever that light is, it speaks. That's my truth.
The truth that I'll add to that is the light that speaks to you. It sounds a lot like your father's voice. It's coming from that light. It says, "Come on now, boy. Just a little further."
No. That's far enough. And he holds up a badly made chunk of metal with a single light switch mounted on the top of it, attached to a bunch of wires that feed back into a military-grade duffel bag, which is slung over his shoulder. And he looks at this light and he says, "You are the stuff of nightmares. And it is time that my friends got to wake up." And he clicks the button.
Roll me desperate empathy.
Don, I'm going to use all 4 of my dice because fuck you. That gives me a 5. So, let's do this. That'll be 2 5s and a bunch of 1s.
You can see through the light that there is something beyond it. It looks like a long stretch of hallway cells. You can see arms sticking out of the bars, reaching out of the bars. You can see a figure further down that hallway, just waiting. But you get to name one truth as you go to click the button.
I think he is staring down at all of this, and he sees all of these cages, these cells in this corridor. And as he clicks the button, there is a surprisingly muted thump. And this ball of pressure just starts to press him towards that light as he's going towards it. This ball that expands, this huge roiling smoke cloud. But I think as he fell, it cracks into the edges of these cells, these corridors, and before it swallows it whole, one of them is broken enough that something or someone is spared the destruction of everything. And if I could have it my way, I think that someone... This is entirely up to you, Don, but I think that someone is Gigi's mum.
The bomb goes off. Jacob, for a moment, you can smell those flowers. You can hear Rent's laughter and the sound of a stone knocking over water. You can feel Staley's hand in your hand. What's Jacob's last thought?
Jacob's last thought that no one hears is that his friends were like the earth, the rock of his world, and Meryl was the chaos of the water. But Jacob will be the fire, and he will wipe away whatever this is that is coming for them.
The fire rips through you and through whatever this place is where you are. You can hear the screams of the souls who've been trapped here. And there's no more anything. And who's to say what waits for Jacob on the other side? Let's go now to Staley.
Okay.
Up above, in the woods of pretty Marsh Harbor, or wherever you are, snow is on the ground. The air is cold. It's winter. And you've just run with Meryl and Ren and Gigi away from that log cabin. The people that you thought were trying to help you, who turned on you. The gunfight. Jacob jumping down that hole, and then the explosion. And that's where we start now, with you. Cold in the snow. The echo of that explosion still ringing in your ears. What is one thing that is true about this scene?
No matter what the group is doing, as soon as that sound lets out of the explosion, Staley stops dead in her tracks and turns around and sees it. She sees the explosion and then that whole kind of dissipate, and then it's not there anymore. And I think this is when she completely falls to her knees and screams. And just screams and cries and screams and doesn't know what to do. And she's a complete mess in the snow, like disregarding everybody else, disregarding the cold, disregarding whatever else may be going on. She knows what just happened, and she feels a piece of herself die in the process.
For the first time, Staley, you remember your younger self, that time when you knew what was coming but couldn't say anything, and now it's happened. And here you are. The truth that I'll add to this is that Ren, as everyone's running away, I think you're the first person to see Staley drop to her knees. And you can tell when you see her that it's more than just being sad.
I would stop running, and I think Ren has a lot of empathy that she feels for whatever Staley's going through right now, I think she would stop and she would go and comfort her.
Like, if you like come near her or like kneel down towards her, I think she fully embraces you and just weeps uncontrollably into your chest before she like pulls you back and holds you on your shoulders and looks you in the eyes and just says, I knew all of this was going to happen. And I couldn't save anybody.
Even if you knew it was going to happen, nothing you could have ever done would have stopped it.
A resplendent offering.
You don't understand, Ren. I've known for years. I've known since we were children. I've seen it over and over again. I couldn't do anything to save us.
I can't say anything, so I would just like hold her head and let her cry.
You would fall back into your chest and just weep.
The snow continues to fall on the two of you. A little ways ahead, just a little further into the woods. Probably stop for a moment when you hear a scream, Staley's scream. Gigi and Meryl. I think Gigi was ahead a little bit further. So Gigi, why don't you start? You hear the scream. You're running through the snow. What do you do?
She stops, closes her eyes. Like Staley, I think she knows that something very bad has just happened. But she remembers now that something very bad happened before. And that the last voice before the world got really mad and crazy and sunk underwater told her to run. And that everything always comes back to the lighthouse, and that maybe if she can get there, it will fix everything somehow. And that's this weird feeling that she's had for the longest time. It's this thing that she's convincing herself is true. And she pushes herself to not look back. She knows if she looks back, she'll probably see Staley crying, see Ren looking scared, and she knows she can't go back for them. She needs to push forward to escape this thing, to help them escape this thing. And I think she's going to start running and push towards the lighthouse, knowing that there's a clock ticking, that she owes souls, and that she has to find an answer before this whole world is underwater.
Meryl, you see Gigi continue to run as that scream sounds out behind you, and Ren turns back. What's Meryl do?
He had his back to the whole thing. He heard the explosion. Like a rock star, he knows how to turn his back to an explosion. He was walking, saw Gigi begin to run off, thinks to himself, let her go, turns around, slowly walks over to Staley and Ren, and with his rifle slung and his hands on his hips, says very quietly, he was a good guy. Both of them are the real thing. We need to go now. There's nothing we can do. And we can finish our cry back at what's left of the orphanage. But I would like to make sure the two of you get back there safe, which means that I'd like for you all to both stand up and join me this way on your time.
Staley will then struggle, but successfully get herself up and kind of just like start wiping away everything and just like righting her jacket. She gives Ren a really big hug, and then she'll put her hands in her pockets, her hood up, and she follows after Meryl.
And as we walk through the snow, Meryl guardedly begins to speak to Staley. You know, when we go, we don't go where we think we go. Jacob has a chance to prove himself now. Jacob's going to go through a whole thing. And you'll be there, whether you know it or not. And it's going to take him a long time, but he's one of the good ones, and he'll come out the other side of it. It's not the end.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
I know it. And we walk
Right.
through the snow.
As you're following through the snow with the other two, you can hear the crunch of your feet against the snow and the branches beneath of it. And with every step, every hard step through the snow, your arms are swinging with that leather-bound book in your hand. And it was just a few minutes ago, a few long, terrible minutes ago, that Jacob pressed that book into your arms. Jay, one of the last times you saw Jay. He's gone now too, just like Jacob's gone. It's warm. It's almost like the book's skin gives off a little bit of heat of its own.
I think that she's not going to drop it in the snow. She's going to continue to hold it, but Ren is very scared, and I think that as a little girl, she always, for some reason, trusted Meryl because he just seemed to like, he was a kid that had like a lawyer and like had a driver, and so he just seemed like the best adult I ever knew. So I think that I know that he got really weird that one time that I hugged him on the beach when we were all like waking up, but she's so scared and she has this warm book in her hand that she's just gonna reach up and like put her hand into Meryl's hand because I don't think she can make herself keep walking.
This would probably be the first time anyone has done this since the last time. Meryl's not someone who holds hands so frequently. And so I think he looks at it and doesn't resist it. What is that? What are you holding?
Meryl, you always know what to do, and I don't know what to do. I need you to show me how to keep walking.
Okay.
I'm just gonna fall apart in the snow.
No, you're gonna be fine. How far do we have to go?
It's a bit of a walk. You can see now in the distance some sort of green light spilling up into the sky. It was sunset and early evening before, now twilight. It's getting darker. Gigi's
Okay.
gone ahead, and at this point, like, you would have to really pick up the speed to catch her.
Not so interested in catching Gigi as I am making sure that Ren can finish her trip to the orphanage. She's a little slip of the thing, and so I think I just lift her up and just, he's kind of a hoss, you know, pick her up and get moving. And as he's carrying her through the snow, very quietly, just like, Ren, do you remember that time I asked you to hold something for me?
The box, of course. I kept it under my bed.
Yeah, I don't remember getting that back. You think there's any reason to think it might not still be there?
Well, the whole place flooded. You know, the whole island flooded, and I have your box, Meryl. I still have it.
What do you mean you still have it?
Well, I have it in the trunk of my car. You asked me to keep it safe when we were kids, and I never saw you again, and so I've just kept it safe.
You have my black bass
Never
shoebox
saw you
from
again.
when we were kids in the trunk of your car right now.
Yes.
Meryl picks up the pace and shoots a glance over his shoulder to see if Staley is keeping up.
Is Staley
Yeah,
keeping up?
Staley is keeping up. She's keeping a respectable distance away from Meryl and Ren to be by herself, and also give them just a respectable distance. But yeah, she's looking down at the snow, literally just following the tracks in front of her.
All right. Let's move ahead in space to Gigi, who's running through the woods. Gigi, it's getting colder and darker. Your friends are behind you. You're alone, but you're running. How does that feel?
I think in her head she can hear the song she always listens to when she runs. It's the same song that she listens to over and over, and it's one that Birdie would play from her father's cassettes. It's some punk song that she never really understood and she never really liked, but she would always hear it, kind of that distant white noise sound of someone else listening to music. And it became her running song, and it's her white noise. And I think it's drowning out the world, and she's kind of counting her steps. She's watching her feet because she has to make it to the lighthouse. But I think she feels that emotion pulling at her lower lip and her eyes. And she takes a deep sniff. And she calls back over her shoulder for everyone to hurry up. And it's a harsh sound. And she tries to turn up the white noise in her head to try and will herself to be faster, as she'd willed herself to swim harder. And she remembers that feeling now of having to swim harder because they were so close. But they were also about to die. And it's that feeling of being caught between two very tough things and having to make it.
You turn your head to call back to your friends to catch up. And then you look ahead to continue to run. And you almost crash directly into someone, something. You stop yourself just in time. Roll me desperate empathy roll.
Okay. How many? We're at -3 dice right now?
We're at -3 dice now, right now to the pool.
Alright, I get to roll one whole dice because after the last time we visited Gigi in 2020, her traits changed very slightly. But I get one dice. That's a fail with a 2. I lose 1.
You look up, Gigi, and it's a very tall figure with broad shoulders but a skinny waist, an old mothball-smelling polka dot suit. A face that's wrinkled, many wrinkles, no eyes, no nose, just wrinkles and folds of skin, and a big bright smile smiling down at you. Dazzling and white even in the dark. Curly green hair, but rotten flesh. The smiling man looms over top of you, and you know that he wants something. And he holds up a finger in front of himself, a single pinky.
She shakily looks to the smiling man and stumbles backwards half over her own feet, but doesn't go more than a step as she stares at that raised pinky. And shaking, she raises her own hand with the pinky and says, "A little longer though. I'm not ready yet. I promise. Just a little more time." And she'll curl that pinky back in to her fist.
You can hear a giggle swallowed behind clenched teeth, and that big smile. And the man lowers his hand and steps sideways behind a tree. And for a moment, you can see a shadow on the snow. And then that shadow is gone.
She takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, reaches to the white noise in the back of her head, and she fiddles with the cuffs of the coat she's wearing and pulls them down a little lower. And just up and underneath the cuff, she can feel something familiar, and she knows it's still there. She exhales, opens her eyes, and calls back again for everyone to hurry up. And it's a harsh, mean sound.
And I think maybe a moment later, you see Meryl moving with more purpose now, pulling along hand in hand with Ren, Staley, keeping up with them through the tree line. And beyond you, in the direction that you're heading, a green glowing light, a light that you've seen before, Gigi.
Come on, Meryl. We just gotta get to the lighthouse. That's where this begins and where this ends.
I don't want to go in the lighthouse. I want to go in the house. Once I get there, once I hear this. Why do you want to go in the lighthouse, Gigi?
This is where everything is.
I don't know. What the hell are you talking about? Look, they're dead. We got two down, okay? I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna collect my effects, and then we're all leaving.
Meryl.
Okay.
Meryl. The hatch in the shack, it went to a place.
The hatch in the shack went to a place. What place?
It's a dark place. Where people of the island go. They pay a price. They make a deal, or they pay a price. The lighthouse. That's where this started. That's where it's gonna end. I think the lighthouse is a door. It's a way. Like a lighthouse, it shows the way, right? It shows where the dangers are. That's the point of a lighthouse. It shows where the dangers are in the water. But our lighthouse had always lit up the island. It was showing us where the dangers were, and we broke it, and we broke everything else, and so we need to go to the lighthouse. We need to fix the lighthouse to fix what is broken with Pretty Marsh.
But
And
I
if we
don't
do
like
that,
Pretty Marsh.
then all of our friends will be okay. Everything will be back the way it was meant to be.
Wait. It holds them?
The island does, the place with the hatch.
God damn it. And he, like, unslings his rifle, checks how much ammo is left in it, cocks it, looks at the two of you. I'm going in the lighthouse. Gigi's coming with me. I think the two of you should stay out here, but it's up to you.
No.
Fine. And he turns on his heel and goes inside.
Meryl, wait.
What? What?
What happened to your parents, Meryl?
What happened to my parents? You're just suddenly curious what happened to my parents. They died on their yacht. Tragic, really. They went out to get shit-faced.
And that
I was
led to you coming to the orphanage, didn't it?
Yes.
How long were you there, do you think, before Miss Toothache was killed? Huh? How long? Were you with us, Meryl?
You know, Elizabeth, we're going to go ahead and clear this up right now. It wasn't some goddamn supernatural force what murdered my parents. I didn't kill my parents. But I share a responsibility.
You have the gun, don't you, Meryl? Or you
Some
did.
people have to go. Some people have to go, Elizabeth. Some people have to go. And that's
Why did they have to go, Meryl? Why did you have to make them go? Huh?
Because he shoved me in an empty swimming pool, took my eye, humiliated me in public repeatedly, in front of you. How do you not remember night after night us coming to the restaurant and screaming at one another in the dining room and in the parking lot while I fought tears? I see that sick bastard dead 5 times before I go add another slice of your fucking cornbread and get yelled at in the parking lot for going to the bathroom. Fuck that. I want my book back. I want his watch back because I ate him. I told him I would eat him, and I ate him. I swallowed them up, and I'll do it again. Now I'm going in here. Ren, give me the fucking book. We're gonna put this to bed right now, and you're coming with me. I'm sick of the lights. I'm sick of the confusion. I'm sick of people dying. They're breaking people's hearts. I'll just fucking deal with it. I've dealt with harder shit than this. Just give it to me.
You did this, didn't you? With what you did.
What
Did you make a deal, Meryl? Did someone come to you and ask you to make a pinky promise, Meryl?
I never made a promise to anybody.
Made a deal that you would be free if you just did it?
No,
You
I
just
didn't make
gave
any
them
kind of
2 souls and you ate them?
No. God damn it, Gigi, you're making shit up about me. I didn't make any deal with anybody. I know the truth. I've read the book that has the truth, and it's gone. I can't show it to you. Might be in the trunk of Ren's car if we could get to walk, and I'll show you that death is not the end, and that hell is real, and hell is not a place of eternal torment. Hell is a test for redemption that we all go through, and we're all surrounded by our loved ones when we're there. We have champions
Talking about
watching
that
us.
crazy
There are-
paperback by East Streepick? Is that what you're talking about?
Damn it. There are angels on our shoulders, and we will all go to hell together. Do you understand? The water will take us there, and that's where Jacob is, and that's where Jay is. And all this crying in the snow isn't going to help anybody when the time comes. So give me the book. I'm going in the lighthouse to turn the light off, and then I'm getting the thing out of the trunk of the car. I'm getting in my car, and I'm leaving. You can come with me, or you can stay here and cry in the snow. I don't give a shit. I want this over with. So give me the book.
I'm not giving you the book, Meryl. You're acting crazy. I don't understand what's going on. I don't think you should have this book. I don't think you should go into the lighthouse with this book. I don't know what I think, but I don't think you should have this.
I walk up to Ren and I put my hand on her shoulder And I quietly ask, will you please give him the book? If he knows something we don't know and I can get Jacob back, give him the book. I don't care what happens anymore. I want out. Please give him the book.
How close are we to the water?
You can see the shore through the tree line in the direction of that green light that's lifting up into the sky. But you'd have to run for it.
I run for it and I chuck the book right into the green light, right into the ocean.
I try to tackle her. I'm going to run after her and try to tackle her.
What about Meryl?
Meryl does not attempt to stop anything because a fucking bell rings in his head, and he turns his chin toward Gigi and said, "How do you know the name of that book?" How do you know what in the hell I'm talking about, Elizabeth?
I asked you not to call me Elizabeth, you know. And she's gonna pull down her coat, and she's still wearing that watch. She hasn't taken it off, and she didn't know why until right now.
You're wearing my dad's Daytona.
How do you think I knew about the gun? Meryl, I think you put us into hell, and you're damn right you're gonna get us out. We're all gonna get out of it. We're gonna make this what it should be.
How dare you drag me into this and try to make me responsible for what the madness you're all going through? I have been on the perimeter of this the entire time and has tried
Meryl,
to
you are the eye
chance
of the
I could.
storm.
Oh, please. I'm the only one here who knows what in the hell they're doing. You are all spinning in infinity, and the devil is standing right in front of you. I'm the only one who'll look it in the eye.
You're the one letting us all die. She's gonna walk after Staley and Ren to try and stop them from killing each other or whatever the hell is happening down towards the beach.
No, you're not. I level the rifle and say, "Give me the watch, Gigi." You're not going anywhere. Give me the watch.
You hear the rifle click, Gigi, behind you. What do you do?
She keeps walking. Meryl will come after his watch.
Don, this is your call.
Or he'll prove her right. It'll go one way or the other.
No, my friend. This is your call.
Man, it's really tough because Meryl's murdered a lot of people. And he'll do it again. And I just feel like something stops him from doing it, because is his dad's watch worth this one? Maybe we've seen enough death. Maybe I am what she says I am. And I'm like walking behind her with the rifle. And I'm like, that's the point, Gigi. I had to learn to walk between the raindrops. But it's not enough. You got to learn to be the raindrops. Do you understand me?
Meryl.
I didn't do anything wrong, Gigi.
Make me a desperate cool roll, Meryl.
Man, he's like this. Man, he's like this close. I mean, it could be. Okay,
Desperate cool.
All right, here we go. All right, hold on. We got the thing. We got the cool. It's 2. I got to do the dice. We're gonna do 4 of the dice here, because I only get 1 cool because my stat is 2, right?
Your stat is 2.
4,
you have minus
-5
3 right now because of the hour.
All right, here we go, boys and girls. Yahtzee.
Are you using
So it's
4
not-
off of the screen?
It'll be 4 instead of 5.
Yeah,
4
just 4.
dice total.
I'm gonna keep 1 in the tank just in case. 1, 5, 4, 1.
You just needed a 5 or a 6. So you get to name a truth here as you're screaming ahead at Gigi, your finger on the trigger.
So wait, so I just get to say what happens. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's any one thing or the other.
You get to
Could be
name a truth.
A truth, any narrative element you want in this moment.
He has to. It feels like some sort of cop out, and it's not, because if he's ever going to punch into some truth about himself, it's not the goddamn watch. It's not about the goddamn money. It's about what happens to us. It's about where we're going. It's about not living in fear. And I will let Elizabeth live her life however she wants to live it. And if she wants to keep my dad's Paul Newman, I won't murder her over this. Enough blood has been spilled over my dad's Paul Newman. If anything, that role kept me from murdering this poor girl on the beach. And I just stop and lower my rifle. And then I'm going to go break into the trunk of her car. I would like to just walk straight to her car. I would like to walk straight to Ren's car.
Yeah, if everyone else is running towards the shoreline in the direction of the lighthouse, then you can cut towards Ren's car.
She wants to go in a lighthouse and take down the thing. You just do it. I'm not going to have any more part of this. I'm going to get you don't know what I've been through over what was in that box. And he's come razor close to murdering someone that he genuinely cares about, and walks away from the whole thing.
Staley and Ren, let's move back to you for a minute. Ren dashes off, that book swinging in her arms, rushing towards the coastline. And Staley, you take off after her. Staley, what's your intention here?
I want the book. I don't want to harm Ren if it doesn't mean that. I want to try and either tackle her to get the book away from her or swipe it in some fashion. I'm not trying to hurt Ren. I just want the book.
Okay. I'm going to give this roll then to Ren and call it a desperate quickness.
Okay.
You have -3 to your dice pool right now.
Yeah, I do. Okay. So I'm going to use 2 of my dice up here. And so that would give me 3 total.
3 total.
Four, 3, 4.
You're running, Ren, towards the sea, that book in your hands. And the truth that I'll introduce is that, Staley, you didn't mean to do any harm. But Ren slips for just a moment and stumbles, and you can't slow down, and you crash into her with so much force that Ren goes flying back and her head cracks against the trunk of a tree. She slips down, lays back against the tree, and the book goes flying into the snow.
I quick and grab the book. I shove it underneath my hoodie and my jacket, and I immediately run over to Ren and try to assess her, try to hold her, try to see if she's okay. Like, doing the whole hand in front of the face thing, and she's shaking and still, and like she's crying again. She's just like, "Oh my God, Ren! Oh my God, Ren! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I just wanted the book. Why didn't you just give me the book?"
Ren, you're stunned.
I was getting
You
ready
can
to ask.
feel like if you can put like your fingers to the back of your head and pull it out, it pulls some of your hair out of your head because of blood sticking to your fingers.
I think while Staley is like panicking like over me and like crying, I think that I just kind of like dazed, like slowly like reach behind my head, touch it, and then like look and realize like how much blood is in my hand. Like heads are so vascular that just there's just so much blood everywhere, and I'm convinced that I'm dying now. So I think that she just kind of like lays back and just like lays there and just tries to figure out what to do. She tried to do the right thing. She tried to throw this book into the ocean, and it caused another big fight, and now I'm here with my head bleeding.
And Staley will take off her jacket, like her outer jacket, because she's wearing a hoodie and then an outer jacket. So she'll take out the outer one and kind of like wrap it and fold it and like try to prop Ren up enough so that she can get it behind her head and like tell her like okay, just hold this here, I'm gonna go get help. I'm gonna go get him. And she will like stand up and run towards where the rest of them are at the moment, where Gigi and Meryl are kind of having their standoff. Or at least where Gigi is. Whoever is in the vicinity, she's going to run to whoever is around.
I think you see Gigi moving through the woods and are able to follow Gigi. Ren, as you're leaning back against the tree, it's so cold. Have you ever been so cold that it's kind of peaceful? The way that like it goes, your body starts to go numb, your breathing starts to become a little more shallow. I think there's a bit of that now as you're leaning up against the tree and you're watching Staley run off. You can see Gigi through the woods for just a moment. What are you thinking about? Is there, I don't know, a favorite memory, or is there something that you're holding on to?
I think I'm thinking about Gigi's birthday party when she got Cullen, the cat, and how much we loved that cat and we doted on him, and how I was so happy that Gigi brought me my teddy bear on the boat. But I think that she spent the last 10 years just like still like mourning that she never got to say goodbye to their cat. So I think she's just like laying on this tree with Staley's hoodie behind my head, just like kind of thinking about their old cat and watching Staley run away and thinking like, wow, this is all like, this has got to be a dream.
Your mind drifts back to old memories. Your eyes close, but you don't die. No. Not here. Not at this moment. But there's something peaceful about remembering those things that you loved in times that were past. In the cold, you can hear in the distance the crunching of feet in the snow. Gigi, where are you going? What are you doing once Meryl leaves you?
She has her answer to a question she's had for a long time about Meryl. And she still believes this all begins and ends at the lighthouse, and that everyone will find their way there. And in a way, she agrees with a lot of what Meryl was saying, and that wasn't really the point of what they were arguing about. But I think if she hears Staley react to what happens to Ren, or some movement that isn't just people moving on, she'll turn back for the first time, I think. But if she doesn't hear that, doesn't notice that, because snow dampens a lot of things, and she was kind of taking a breath and moving on, listening to Merrill stalk off in his whatever direction, then she would just keep moving towards the lighthouse and just keep hoping she's right, because otherwise they're all dead and everyone is dead and everything was for nothing.
Say that you get to the edge of the tree line, and now you can see the lighthouse where it wasn't before, pristine, standing watching over the island. It was meant to provide safe passage for sailors, provide a path through the storm. And now it stands again after all these years. Its green light, a beacon, spilling out from the top of it. The door shut. The siren isn't on, just the light. And then you hear the crunch of steps behind you as Staley approaches.
Gigi, it's
What?
come with me. Please come with me. I hurt Ren by accident, and she's bleeding. We have to go get her so we can bring her here. Please. Please, I didn't mean it.
I know. And she looks at that lighthouse like she was so close, but the fact that it's Birdie that's hurt is the only thing that would make Gigi turn around at this point. And she looks at Staley. You gotta stay, you gotta watch it. This is where we've gotta be. I'll go. I promise, I'll...
Okay. Go and get her. I'll go and see what's there. I'll watch.
The answer's here. It has to be here.
I think I know what we have to do. And she's just gonna start running to the lighthouse, the book underneath her hoodie.
And Gigi?
She would watch Staley start to move and then hurry, yelling out to Birdie.
Does she just yell, or is she running back in the direction she came from?
She's running. Yeah.
You run back and begin to yell out through the woods. And to your left, as you're passing by a tree, you see, leaning there, waiting for you, your mother. She looks just like she did down in that cell, except for colder. There's frost on her bare feet, on her fingertips, snow in her hair. Her teeth are chittering.
Mom? What are you... We gotta hurry. Birdie's hurt.
I don't know, Birdie.
I don't care.
Gigi, you got me out of there. We can get out of here together. You and me.
Not yet. We gotta do stuff. Come on.
You're right. You're absolutely right, girl. And she steps towards you and she holds out her shaking hands, looking to grab onto yours if you'll take them.
She's about to reach out, and then I imagine she closes her hand and she hardly unzips her coat to offer to her mother to be like, you look really cold, take this, because she's in look after everyone mode. And then she's just gonna bolt looking for Birdie, just determined nothing else in this world right now matters except for her baby sister, who is somewhere injured in these woods, and it's freezing. And even her mother being here, just it isn't important compared to that.
You hear a scream behind you, a shriek that shakes the dead branches of the trees. Your mother's voice. It's somewhere between anger and anguish, and it follows you as you run through the woods. And then you see Birdie lying there up against the tree trunk.
She just skids down to her knees in the snow next to Birdie, and she'll look back towards her mom, who she hopes is following, who she hopes is magically going to know how to fix this somehow. And she's going to look over Birdie, see if she can figure out what happened and what she can do about it.
You can roll me Desperate Smarts.
Smart. Alright, I get to roll one whole dice. You know what? This is Birdie. I'm going to burn the last extra dice as well, so I'm going to roll 2.
Excellent.
Fail. Fail. That'll be a -1 to smarts. I'm at like -1 to 3 out of 5 of my stats now.
The truth that I'll introduce is that you can tell that she's just sleeping, maybe concussed, maybe something worse. But you see stepping sideways out from behind a tree off in the distance, maybe 50 yards, the smiling man with his many wrinkles of flesh and that big, bright smile. And he is facing you, smiling at you, and you're there over top of Birdie.
She'll shift defensively, and she'll hold out her pinky finger and say, I murdered the man in the wax museum. I'm guilty. She's not guilty of anything. Fix her and I'll go.
He takes a long step towards you, his legs stretching, one long step after another, slowly, unhurried. He's tall, maybe 11 feet tall, twice the height of you. And he bends down low, his neck craning upwards. You can see what looks like insects, maggots crawling through those folds of flesh in his face. He smiles even wider. And he holds up that pinky. And he says, promise.
I left the door unlocked the night Miss Toothaker walked out. And I knew the boy was gonna fall off of the dock by the mariner, and I let him so that I could save him. And then she'll wrap her finger with his and say, Merrill has to save them all, and if he doesn't, you should take his soul too. And then she'll pinky promise.
His pinky wraps around yours multiple times. And then from beneath of you, many hands reach up from the earth, the old bones of this island. Rotting hands grasping at your legs, pulling you down through the snow deeper and deeper. You can see Birdie there next to you, laying up against the trunk. What do you do, Gigi? Do you fight?
I don't think she does, but I think inside she's listening to that white noise of Birdie's cassette. And she's really hoping that if we get to go to another place on another side, that Jacob's there, because she still has his lighter, and she's quite happy to let him set fire to things now. She's just hoping there's another place after this and there's another fight to happen. And she's just willing Birdie to be okay.
The ground beneath you breaks open as those arms pull you down, and what's beneath the snow is hotter. It's a lot hotter. Gigi, you can feel that fire licking at your feet. You feel those arms of all of those people that you wronged in your life, pulling at you. Birdie, you open your eyes and you see these arms pulling down at Gigi. You see her being pulled into the earth, being sucked into the earth. The two of you see each other in that moment.
I think that I look at her in her eyes. I don't know, it just happened, but I know what just happened. I will reach my hand out for hers, and I'm gonna see if she'll grab it.
She shakes her head as the hands are pulling wrapped around her. And she says, "Run, Birdie. Run."
She does. She gets up and runs. It's not... She didn't the first time, but she will now.
You can see Birdie, before you're able to stand up and start staggering off, Gigi is pulled into the earth, and what's beneath is teeth. It's a hungry mouth that waits beneath all of us. And blood pulls up from the ground where she was dragged into as the earth fills back over. That blood trickles through the snow. And you turn and you run. Where do you run?
To the lighthouse.
You can see the green light off in the distance waiting for you. You run in that direction. Meryl.
Man. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry, Don.
You were running towards the orphanage, towards the parking lot to break into Ren's car.
Right.
You hear, right around the time you get to the car, a scream in the woods.
Okay. Turn.
You don't see anything, not at the moment.
Okay. I'm a little one thing, I don't mean to run the momentum. He still thinks that other than the watch, the rest of his stuff might be in the trunk of the car. Yes or no? I can't remember if I got through. Yeah. Isn't that where we're at?
Yeah. He's
okay.
Run to Ren's car to break into it.
All right. My code is a Slim Jim. I Slim Jim into her car.
Absolutely.
I've broken into a lot of cars. I'm just like right into it. Pop, bang, trunk, open, box. And if I remember correctly, not there.
Ren, where is the box? Where did you put the box?
In the trunk, next to mine.
Next to your what?
My box.
There's two boxes.
I don't have my original box. I just have a shoe box that I started when we got it. It only has the ripped up movie ticket in it.
Right. So he flips the lids up of both of them, and the book and the apron and the stuff isn't in there because it was in Gigi's swim bag. Am I right about that? Okay.
That's right.
So, he screams the F word at the top of his lungs. I'd like to think that snow falls off the branches of nearby trees. He's so mad. And literally spitting, he's so angry. He slams the door of the trunk, unslings the rifle, just sets it down, leans it up against the car without breaking his stride, pulls his magnum, and storms back up the snow to the house and is demanding answers. Just like raging back up to the house to find Gigi.
So Gigi's was heading towards the lighthouse. Are you going towards the orphanage, the old orphanage, or are you heading towards the lighthouse?
I think if I see that they're not there behind where they were before, I'm just assuming everybody went to the lighthouse, and I just head that way because it's time to put a stop to this, for God's sake. I want my shit. I'm tired of these people dying. I want answers.
You're moving through the woods towards the lighthouse. You see stumbling, blood forcing some of her hair to stick to the side of her neck and her cheek. Ren, coming from the opposite direction, but moving in the same place, towards the same place. And I think the two of you would see each other in the woods in the snow.
Ren, what are you doing?
I'm running. What are you doing?
I'm looking for Gigi. Where is she?
Oh, I think hearing that, she just kind of falls to her knees.
I like take a knee and I get right up in her face and we get a really nice tight close up. I'm like, Ren, I'm going to ask you one more time. It's very important that I talk to Gigi right now. I need to know where my stuff is.
I look straight into Meryl's eyes and say, you're never going to speak to Gigi again.
It's like that.
She's not here, Meryl. She's gone.
And he like shoots a look over his shoulder. And Staley went to the lighthouse with the book.
Yeah.
You understand that if you and I had any sense, we would get in my car and drive away from this right now. You're bleeding.
We can't leave Staley here. We can't. We have to see this through. I don't know what, but...
What are you going to do? You going to go down there and tell the devil to knock it out? Knock it off? She made her choice. She took the book. I only wanted to get Gigi so I could talk to her one more time. If she's really gone, and you mean really gone, then I'm done, and I'm picking you up, and I'm taking you to the hospital.
We have to go to the lighthouse, and then I get up and start running.
Fine. I trudge after her.
Let's go back to Staley. Staley, you run out of the woods and towards the lighthouse. You can see the door there. You can see the light at the top. You have the book in your hands. And maybe for the last time, Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets. Some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. Staley, what is one thing that is true here?
As I walk closer and closer to the lighthouse, I pull the book out of my hoodie. I hold it high up in the air, and as I get closer, those like phantom visions of like the settlers and the pilgrims that settled here start to come back up almost like the same night when Jay was at the top with the book. And she just keeps pushing forward.
The truth that I add is that they form a circle, holding hands around the lighthouse. They're chanting and singing a song about God, moving around in a circle. But when you get close, they stop, and they all turn towards you, and the circle parts. And they stare at you with joyful expression. They welcome you in.
I hold up the book. I just go, is this what you fucking want? Is this what this is all about? Because if it's not, then I'm terribly, terribly confused. I would like some explanation from you people who seem to think terrorizing a bunch of kids through their entire lives is fucking fun. Am I supposed to read some passage to make you all disappear? Am I supposed to invite you all to sort of eat from my being? I don't know, but I'm willing to fucking do it to end this shit, so let's go.
The door to the lighthouse slowly swings open. There's something inside. Maybe it's leaving. Maybe it's waiting for you. Roll me a desperate empathy roll.
Okay. In 2020, my empathy is normally 4. We are -3?
-3 currently, yes.
I'm going to use all 3 of my extra dice. And
Excellent.
I'm going to roll them here. So I got 4 in total. I rolled a 2, a 2, a 4, and a 5.
You just needed at least a 5, at least 1 5. So you spend the rest of your dice, and you get to name a truth as the door opens and there's a figure within.
The figure motions for me to come inside, and after I go inside, the door closes and locks.
It's dark at the bottom, but there's a green light at top. It's providing just a little bit of illumination. So close that you could reach out and touch them, that figure in the dark, if you wanted to. You can hear the creaking of the rusty stairs.
What's the point? What do you want? You ask, and I will give it to you, because at this point I have nothing else to lose. I have no one else to lose.
The truth that I'll introduce to this is that the figure in the dark is Jay. And Jay steps forward, and you can just make out his face in the dark.
You're not, there's no way. There's no way. Is that really you? Or is this thing fucking with me?
Jay, what is one thing that is true about this scene?
one thing that is true about this scene is that this is Jay, but he's not all there. We were never gonna escape this island.
What? No. What? Jay, come on. Like, we've done this before. Come on. You gotta snap out of it. Come on. Come with me. Come with me and the other two, and we can go. Come on. Come on. Let's go.
Jay, the truth that I'll add is that you know what Tak wants. You know what the island is. You have become beholden to the truth. This island, just the bones of an old god drowned in the sea, and all that Tak wants is to eat.
Just have to feed it, Staley.
Feed what? What do you feed it? What's the point? Does it ever stop? How do we stop this? How do I stop this? What is this book? What do I do? Jay, it's me. Come on. Please. Please. And
Just have to feed it.
As she's pleading, she's going to open the book. She's going to attempt to open the book and to read or figure something out. Because there's got to be something in this book.
What's Jay doing at the same time? What's he look like? What's he doing?
I mean, I think that Jay, his eyes just look blank and lifeless. I think he looks perhaps drenched in seawater. And he's just looking at Staley.
Staley, you open the book, flipping through its pages, hoping to catch something, an answer. Roll me a desperate empathy. What is your empathy currently?
My empathy is 4 normally.
Okay.
So I still get 1 dice.
1 right now. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Mwah. That is a 3. Whoa. So close.
The truth that I'll introduce is you don't find any solution for how to make it stop. What you find, everything in the book says that Tak always has been and Tak always will be, that his hunger began before time existed, and he will still be hungry long after time stops, after the sun turns black, after the world is gone. The book continuously states again and again that we humans have no choice. No choice.
No choice. I feel like I've had no choice for a really long time.
Never had a choice, Staley.
So do I just give up? Do I just cash in everything? I don't want to be bested by this. I've survived a lot. But, if I have to go, maybe if I choose it, it won't feel as bad. Maybe I'll get to see Jacob again. What do I do? Come on, Jay, please. You've got to still be there. Somewhat, please. What does he want? I'll offer him anything.
Wants to feed. That's the only way.
I'll find you souls. I'll feed you. I'll figure it out. I don't want anyone else to die, please. I'm pleading with whatever entity, thing is fucking with us, please. I will make a deal. I will do your bidding. I will devour whatever you need me to devour. I don't want anyone else to die, please. They all have things to live for, and I don't.
Staley, roll me one more desperate empathy.
Okay. One more. Okay. It's only a 4.
The truth that I'll introduce is that you know in this moment that Jay isn't here. Not really. He's already been devoured. All of those things outside, they've all been devoured. Your answers, your deal, whatever's waiting for you, it's not here. It's up there. You just got to go to the top.
I run to the top as fast as I possibly can.
Jay, she turns and begins running up the stairs. Those rusted stairs rattling. Give us one final image, word, thought, anything for Jay. How do we see him there at the end?
I think that there's maybe a slight thought of a butterfly trapped in a jar, beating its wings until it dies.
And that's what you are now. You stay below, you stay in the jar, and Staley runs upwards towards the top of the lighthouse. And Staley, when you get there, there is someone else waiting for you. Another figure. Jacob.
I guess this is some perverse trick too. You're not really here, are you?
Jacob, describe what you look like right now.
Jacob is dressed all in black, like a man attending more than one funeral. From head to toe, in fine clothes, just as he did in the closing days. But as you see him, there is almost a radiance of flame that seems to be around his feet. And you realize that he is standing in the middle where the light should be, and he is the fire. He is what is lighting this surrounding landscape.
Did you do this? What happened to you? How do I save you? And I think she would attempt to like get close to him and try to like put a hand on his chest to see if he was even real.
Jacob, you can introduce one truth here.
As she gets closer, Jacob is on fire. He is burning hot, and yet you can push through it if you want to. And he holds out a hand, almost staring at his own hand like he's unfamiliar with it all. And he can still feel it at his back, that building pressure. It's slow now, but it's there, ready to wash over him. But right now, he has a moment. I picked up the phone so many times. And I dialed. And my thumb hovered over the button. And I made a choice. Because there's always a choice, Staley. Always. Even in the end. I should have told you before I went, before all of this. I should have told you every day. Shouldn't have wasted a moment. But somehow I knew you knew. I always knew you knew. I hope you knew that I knew. But knowing that isn't the choice. It's knowing what's coming and still making that same decision. That is the choice. I made you a promise. Even though I said I wouldn't. Even though I broke it 1,000 times. I made you a promise. That night. Even though I didn't say it. Even though it was days before you tortured the words from my lips. But I said it then. As we stood by the waterside, looking out at where it all was, I made you a promise I would never leave you. But we all have choices to make, Staley. And this is yours. I will keep my promise. But you have to choose. You have to choose. He reaches out with both his hands.
Staley will drop the book. She takes his hands and she holds him very tight through the burning, through the pain. And as she holds himself or herself very close to him, head buried in his chest and weeping soft tears, she says, I love you now, and I have always loved you. I chose you then, and I choose you now.
I love you too.
The fire, the green light burns. The both of you are pulled into it together. But it still burns. Outside, in the snow, on the beach, Meryl and Ren, you cross the threshold. The moonlight's strange, it's not quite real, but nothing here is quite what it should be. You can see the green light at the top of the lighthouse get a little bit brighter as you get close, and then dimmer again. The two of you are together. Meryl, I'm going to let you introduce a truth about this scene.
So we're at the ruins of the light, or what's left of the lighthouse, right?
It's back. At least it appears to be.
It's back,
Doors
but
open.
it's okay. Doors open. Okay, so it's empty. It is, and in some places is almost there's like a low soot. Even though everything looks very still, just as if a lot of motion is now calming down. Dust is moving through the air, and motes are settling in the light coming through the windows. And Meryl, with his gun drawn, takes a look around, looks behind some doors, looks up, just kind of gets a sense of the place, and turns over to acknowledge Ren, and while putting his magnum back in the small of his back in his holster, is like, it's Birdie, right? You prefer to be called Birdie?
I just, people close to me call me Birdie. I don't prefer it or not.
What do you want me to call you?
I think I would like if you called me Birdie.
Okay, Birdie. I'm sorry our friends are gone. You should know that right now they're walking through a forest, and it won't be long before they see someone very close to them. and that person is going to take them where they need to go. And that's what happens to all of us. Okay? It's not the end.
What person's gonna take him somewhere?
It's different for everybody. It's a goddamn shame I can't find that book. I should take you right through it. It's one of the most incredible things. It really spoke to me when I was, well, right after my parents died. It set me free from a lot of self-hate. But that's not the point. Bertie, let me ask you a question. What's your current employment status? Are you busy?
I'm a teacher. We're on winter break.
Teacher.
Yeah.
Teacher on winter break. Fascinating. Means you're organized, means you're passionate, and also means that you're getting paid shit. Am I far off?
No.
Right. Spectacular. Well, this is what I like to call kismet. Do you understand? One of the things that happens to me, I don't know about you, but whenever I go through something difficult, I like to throw myself into my work. Before I got to the island, I had a lot going on. I'm looking for kind of a personal assistant, Coombs, logistics planner, someone to make sure that my calendar is straight, someone to communicate on my behalf. I could pay you a six-figure salary and make sure you're put up and comfortable while you do this work. How would you feel about working together under those auspices?
I just want to go home. I don't want a six-figure salary. I just want to live a boring life. I don't want to keep a calendar for you. I just want to go home.
You won't have to hurt anybody, Bertie. You just can't lie to me.
I've never lied to you.
How did Gigi know about the book, Bertie?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
You didn't tell her?
I don't know what book you're talking about.
Can I drive you to the hospital?
Yeah.
It's a shame about Jay. He had something he wanted to say to me. He never got to say it. And it's a shame about Jacob, Staley. I think they would have been happy.
I think so too.
And I'm sorry about your friend.
I mean, she was my sister. She was your sister.
Maybe. We've been definitely through a lot together. All right. Are you sure I can't persuade you to, you know?
I don't know, Meryl. Maybe when I stop bleeding from my head, I can think clearly about it.
Sure. Think about it. Think about it. And he just starts walking, you know?
Where?
Towards the cars. And if she doesn't immediately follow, he just turns around and waits for her to pick up her feet. Like, waits to escort her back to the car.
So Meryl and Ren, you're down by the coast. The lighthouse is there. The lights have gone out, and we're now in the part of the game where the next failed roll leads to our final harrowing consequences. Ren, Meryl turns and heads back away from the lighthouse. You can see the door open. You can see the lights at the top.
It's just something I can't see. I'm sorry, Dom. Sorry.
No, go for it.
Something like he takes like 2 steps and he turns around. And he's like, something I just can't shake. How would Elizabeth have known about the book if she hadn't looked in the box? And how would she know to look in the box if she didn't know it was there? Was she fond of going through your stuff?
I mean, I don't know, Meryl. We were kids. I was 10 years ago. I just know that you gave me your box and I put it next to my box, and that's the last I saw of it.
You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Birdie?
Meryl, I have never lied to you, and I wouldn't start today.
Ren, you can roll me a desperate cool roll to convince Meryl.
Well, you know Ren is the queen of cool.
You do still have some dice.
Yeah, I'm going to use them all.
Yeah.
I can use up to, I can roll up to how many?
Up to 5, so you can spend 4 of them here to go up to 5.
Perfect, I'll do that.
You got it. So you get to introduce a truth here as you're trying to convince Meryl, and he's getting agitated.
I honestly have no idea what book Meryl's talking about. They went through all of that while we were at the movie. So I think that he's pressing her, and she's just over it. She just starts crying and she's like, Meryl, I don't know what book. Are you talking about the book that I tried to throw in the ocean? Is that the book we're talking about? I know about that one.
No, not that one. Not that one. It has an eyeball on the cover. It was in the box that you told me you'd keep under your bed. You told me you'd keep it safe and not tell anybody, and all you wanted to do was go to the movies, which, if I remember correctly, we did. So which is it? How did she know? Was she fond of just rifling through your shit because you were sisters? Was it her box too? Was it her stuff too? The stuff I asked you to hold on to me, that I got out of my father's safe after he died, after I made goddamn sure he drowned like a dog? My Daytona? My classic Beretta?
Birdie slowly backs away from him. Meryl.
What's Meryl's physicality?
He's looming. She's a tiny slip of the thing. His hands are clenched. He's angry, but he's unarmed.
What does Ren say to him?
Here.
I mean, Ren just starts backing away from him, and she's upset. This is upsetting her. I mean, I did what you asked, Meryl. You gave me this box and you said it was important, and I have an important box and I put it right next to that box. I don't know what Gigi did when I wasn't in the room. There were so many other kids that lived in that house too. I don't know what they did. I think Jacob probably stole money from Gigi all the time.
I think you work for me now. I think you're going to come with me to the car. We're going to go to the hospital. We're going to get you patched up. We're going to go to Denny's. I'm going to have a grand sandwich and a black coffee. And we're going to talk about how we're going to work together for a while.
Why do you love Denny's so much? McDonald's is way better.
Sandwich. We will go through McDonald's and take it to Denny's. Birdie, I will spoil you rotten if you just stay loyal to me and let us move on from this amicably. Just don't lie to me, and we could have an amazing time.
I've never lied to you, Meryl. I'm not gonna start today. So let's go to Denny's, I guess. Let's go to Denny's. I'm bleeding from my head, so can we stop and get that looked at first?
Sorry, it's my temp here. Let me help you up. He holds his hand out.
She takes his hand.
partners.
Okay.
Say it.
Partners.
Marvelous. How do you like your coffee?
I like tea.
We'll fix that. And he walks off.
The two of you are heading back to the car, back to try to get to the boat that you took to get out here. Is that the idea?
Yeah, drive back to the ferry unless it's destroyed. I can't remember how we get back. But I want the wide helicopter shot of, she can lay back in the back of the 61 DeVille. I want, Meryl's long black Cadillac driving back across Pretty Marsh Harbor in the quiet snow.
The town is dead. Fallen. Unoccupied. It's a quiet drive, the two of you heading through the town towards the harbor. It almost seems like we could slip away and just let the two of you live your lives. But we can't. Meryl, roll me desperate empathy.
Okay, here we go. Yes, desperate empathy. Oh, I can't see anything. Okay, my empathy is 4 in 2020, which is -2.
-3.
-3. So 1, and I'll spend my last
Bonus die.
bonus die. Here we go. And
You'll
yeah,
have 2 dice.
2 3s.
I think, Ren, you're almost asleep in the car. After everything you've been through, you're exhausted, you're hurt, concussed. Meryl, you admitted to something tonight. It's something that changes a man. Once he's tasted it, he's never the same. And the truth that I'll introduce is that you're not coming back from the island alone, Meryl. You've got a passenger, a hungry passenger.
Yeah, she's asleep in the back seat. Is Dawn frozen? She's asleep. Yeah, I have a hungry passenger. She's asleep in the back seat.
You've got a passenger with you, yeah. You have a passenger. I think there's a moment where maybe it surprises even Meryl. The word out his mouth, talk.
I say it. Meryl says it.
You say it. You say it, Meryl.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like really softly under his breath. Talk. Talk, 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 talk. Talk.
The shot pans out. I think there's probably a song that Meryl's playing on the radio. That song drifts up with us. And we move
This
out
Corrosion
into
by Sisters of Mercy. Sorry.
No. It's great. And that is where we will end this story, one of many stories that we'll tell, one of many stories that have taken place in Pretty Marsh Harbor. Pretty Marsh Harbor had many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, some of them terrifying. It was a place that was full of laughter and love and family, good people and evil people and scared people, and others too. Folks full of a strong, independent spirit, unwilling to let their fates be determined by people or devils. That impossible to define quality that, for better or worse, makes us human beings, fragile, hopeful, strange, and wonderful as we are. We keep moving forward until we can't anymore. But all stories come to an end, and this is the end of this story. Let's bring back in all of our friends. PJ Party.
Oh,
Yay.
Yay!
Thank you.
yay!
Thank you. Yeah, we're all happy. Thank you all for hanging out tonight, everybody, for our PJ Party, our long horror Friday night frights. Thank you, all of these players. I love playing with y'all, telling the story. Just like every story, it's got a lot of different things going on, and it's imperfect and it's unresolved, and we told it ourselves every single moment along the way, sharing the load, helping each other. And I had such a great time. I love doing this. I know I want to keep doing this. I can keep working on the system, tell more stories. But for now, let's go around and let everyone decompress a little bit, say what they're thinking, what they're feeling. If there's something that it's just nagging them, this is what they're holding on to right now. This is what's occupying their brain space. And then if you have anything coming up you want to shout out, go ahead and do that before we come back around and end for the night. We will start, we'll go in the same order we always do. So we'll start with Ray.
Oh, hey. I'm Ray. And I played Staley. I'm with a brick on the interwebs, with 2 Ks. Wow. This has been... First off, I want to say thank you to all of my cast members and to Don for running this story and for creating this system, because I've never played a game where I've felt more a part of the story and a part of the system than this one. So thank you sincerely. This has been a growing experience, not only in us as people, but us as, storytellers. And it's been a wild ride, and I've appreciated every single step of it. So thank you genuinely for having me be a part of this. In terms of my favorite things from the story, or things that I'm holding on to, I loved the whole Jacob Staley arc. I think that was great. I think that was fun to play out. I've never RP'd a relationship, so that was kind of fun and crazy, and self-sacrifice has always been something that's been up my sleeve. So fucking yay to self-sacrificing for love. But yeah, no, all of these characters had such a growth experience, and every week being able to see everyone grow in their choices and grow in their characters was inspiring to the utmost extent. So everyone deserves the biggest round of applause in my book. I loved everybody's characters and the way that they chose to make things not always easier for themselves, but choosing to make things harder and make their characters make difficult decisions and struggle. It was wonderful. Everything's been wonderful. So for the 18th millionth time, thank you for everything. This has been so rewarding. But yeah, I do things on the internet. I play other games. Those aren't important right now. But if you are interested, with a brick with 2 Ks on the interwebs. And thank you for watching and being a part of this every week with us, those who have been joining us. So thank you for everything. This has been great.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being so ballsy with Staley too. Staley's been great, and to see that arc the entire time. You got like everybody had their own unique like challenges for playing their character that kind of developed out of the story. But Staley had some tough stuff, some tough ones. Some of the stuff that came from chat, like that whole like times back and forth thing where she knew in 2010 what was going to happen but couldn't tell anybody. I thought you played that really well. I really, really enjoyed her arc and her story over time. This wasn't a happy story, but there were moments of joy in it, and you know, that's real. And I feel like you brought a lot of realness to Staley, so thank you for that. Let's go down. And it's a joy to play with you too. I'm so glad I got to play with you finally in a full campaign. I've gotten to play with some folks before, but a lot of new folks for me in this group, and I've loved it because everybody's just been amazing. Let's go down to Josh. Josh, how are you doing, buddy?
I am good. I think Charlie actually needed to say something super quick, so I'm gonna quickly throw it over to her because I know Charlie's been here, so.
Being a rebel. Basically because I gotta go last, and I gotta remember that I'm in counter roleplay when I go last. So I'm gonna go now, quickly with my thoughts. Yeah. And I have some thoughts about all of these characters. I like to imagine that once they are consumed by fire, Staley and Jacob, they end up going back. And we know Staley's got that hardcore relationship with the first settlers. And I think we get that padding shot of them going all the way back to the first ship, and we see two ships sailing towards Marsh Harbor, and on one of them is the soul of Jacob, and then one of them is the soul of Staley. And that's the first time we see them on the way to Pretty Marsh.
Oh,
I think
I love that.
That Tommy already nailed my vision for Jay's soul. And that when we first saw Jay with that butterfly in the bowl that came back to life, he was looking at himself already in the future, and we just didn't know yet.
Yes.
I think that Gigi is the crab in the sea, and that she is the person that is now going to watch this island, that is going to keep people from coming to it and being consumed by it, that is forever hunting the souls that left it, that didn't do what they were meant to do, that didn't break the chain that we are in. And that Merrill, with his obsession of water, is now forever going to be haunted by the damn stuff because Gigi embraced what she was under things. It never really came up in story, and there was a moment tonight when I nearly did, but didn't. And I think that she became the sea that Merrill thinks he is, and she's gonna haunt him and his little demon-filled self. And I think Birdie is destined to come back to Pretty Marsh, but I don't know what will happen with that. I think Birdie has been protected by us in meta and in story. Birdie is the innocent, and I think she is also the devil. So super curious about Birdie, and I'm not gonna put my pin in that, but those are my thoughts on like in character stuff and how much I love this. And Don, I just keep thinking about the smiling man watching over Miss Toothaker and how we were told in a way early on the deals that had been made, even though I don't think that storyline had really been cemented yet because we've made so much of this up as we've gone. But the image of that woman being haunted by this smiling man who was making deals for souls, and that she told Gigi right before she left, and then Gigi ended up being the next one making deals with smiling men for souls. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm going to hand back to Josh so that Josh can share his thoughts in his outro. I love everyone here. Thank you all so much who have stuck through this finale. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate you. Please tell us your thoughts. Anything, to be honest. Who is your island champion? Who is your island devil? Let us know with a comment. And if you've made it this far, please subscribe. We make cool content. If you like this crew, you know, that's the way that you keep us around. Just telling you. Just honest truth. Back to Josh.
Yeah, Charlie was actually telling me the other day that if the Encounter Roleplay YouTube had 10 more subscribers. Some of us might have lived. So really, if you're not subscribed at the moment, I don't want to put that on you, but that's food for thought. That's something to think about. On a serious note, thank you everyone here. Thank you all so much. This has been a very strange thing for me, mostly because when Charlie and Don first pitched the idea to me, I said no because I was like, I don't do horror, and so they kind of, you know, they didn't like force it on me or anything like that. But you know, I figured it would be an opportunity to do something I wasn't accustomed to, and I wasn't. I was like, just I'll say yes, and I will fully admit to not knowing a whole bunch about the rest of the people I was going to be playing with, which is an insane concept to me, standing where I am now. But like Jacob, looking back on himself, I had no idea who these people were going to be to me at the end of all of this. So that was a hell of a thing, and that was my choice. That was my choice to say yes to Don and say yes to Charlie when they came up with this brainchild, because it's been such a pleasure to be part of. So far as my thoughts on people, I like to think that that in the end, you know, there was a moment where Meryl and Birdie were standing there and in the snow, and it had all of the makings of a Tarantino movie. Like, it was quiet, it was dark, it was everyone had something going on that was right. Everyone had lied, everyone had done something, and somehow through all of it, Lydia managed to keep Birdie as this beacon of purity and hope and innocence and genuine goodness. And I think everyone else just had so many moments where they stepped over the line. And there was this moment where, you know, Meryl looked like he almost got redemption. And I have this image in my head of Meryl spending the entire campaign walking a line between good and bad. And at some point, he realizes he's just walking in a circle over his own footsteps, and the line is somewhere off in the distance, and he has no idea how far he's gone, and he just can't see himself anymore. He is, and like water, he is changed, and maybe one day he will change again, but maybe for another time, maybe from another tale. As for me, my name is Joshua, aka Roleplayers_TV. I've had an absolute pleasure here, and I'm not going to promote anything I do. I'm just going to say that you should follow every single one of these people online, because they're amazing, and they are my Friday family. And even in the weeks that we haven't done a show, we have all been chatting. We've all had memes and crap memes, so many crap memes in the Discord, and Lydia going completely, letting the moderation powers go to her head. If you think she was good here, she is evil when it comes to the web. But maybe that's something we can explore in another episode further down the line. I pass it off to you, Don, the master of ceremonies, the weaver of fates, and just a pleasure to be working with you. Cheers.
It's a pleasure to work with all of you, Josh, Charlie, everybody. Like, and Ray touched on this too. I love that this system lets everybody take the power, take the control, invent the story, imagine the connections, and everybody adds to that. And it's really, really cool. I also like the idea, especially for horror, especially for something that's speaking to the human experience. I like the idea that we have ideas about what things meant, what things mean, where people are going, but we'll never know, because that's life, right? There's no resolution, not entirely. There's no answer to every question. And yeah, and it was great to explore that with everybody. And I appreciated, I'm still here, kind of. I appreciated everybody going along that ride with me. I do want to circle down to Tommy. Tommy, let me know how you're doing, but before you do, let me say that I appreciate from you how much you were willing to make things worse for yourself and everybody else, even when you rolled good dice. I thought it was amazing. But how are you doing, buddy?
Oh boy. Oh geez. Wow. I mean, that was a finale. God, my emotions are definitely all over the place on that one. Just the heartfelt sort of romance, the scenes between Jacob and Staley, those was just so good, so good, so good. Gigi just sort of giving in to the horror there was just, oh my god, so good. And I guess we're gonna get the Ren and Meryl buddy spinoff, buddy cop spinoff. But oh my god, I thought Meryl was going to kill Ren so many times there. I was like, oh, he's like so close. Like, don't you dare. But oh, that was great, and you were all great. And Don, you wove an amazing story and helped us help weave it as well. And that was just very good, very, 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 very good. And I mean, I've got a session tomorrow morning at, was it 9 a.m. for me? It's also horror. I don't know. Get ready. We'll see. I did make myself cry for the first time ever on stream last week in that show. So like, we'll see if that happens. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna be an emotional wreck for a couple days. I know that. I'm Tommy at Imperative Pengo on the Twitter sphere. I do tabletop RPG stuff across the interwebs, as well as some video editing. As I said, I've got a show tomorrow over on Salty Sweet Games at 9 a.m. Where we play Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm not gonna try.
Nailed it. That's the one.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Other than that, I mean, I guess the big plug is in 2 weeks on this channel in this time slot. I will be running Eclipse, an Urban Shadows mini series, which with these great people here, and I'm super excited to run that. We're gonna get into some urban political fantasy, and it's gonna be great. Other than that, oh my god, what a great game! I'm looking forward to see what stories we tell in the future.
And I'm very excited about Urban Shadows. It's a great system. I'm also very excited that everybody here is going to keep playing together because I think this is a great cast with a great energy. It's a great group of people. And like Josh said, a lot of us didn't know each other very well when we first started. Some better than others, maybe. But we've all gotten to be friends. And that's the best part. That's what makes this so much fun week after week. So I'm excited to see Tommy run Urban Shadows and an entirely different kind of horror story, but we'll still stick with the Friday Night Frights for sure. Let's move on to our last two. I imagine the future of Meryl and Ren is like a will they, won't they, but maybe like will Meryl eat Ren? Will Ren save Meryl's soul? I don't know. But like I imagine this buddy cop movie being very morbid, but maybe that's just my brain. Let's go to Travis. Travis, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna literally eat her. He's just a really dangerous, damaged individual. Charlie and I played a game about a year or more ago. First game I ever got, the campaign I ever to play, and I was so lucky because I had such an incredible DM in Charlie. My dad had died just some months earlier, and I had this huge upheaval in my life, and playing that game with Charlie really grounded me. and the character I played means a lot to me. And we're stitching together a long form continuity in the Charlie Traviverse. And I think about it all the time now. Like my socks are on fire all the time. So I just can't wait for Urban Shadows. We're not done. And we've got some, and I just am a big believer in group chemistry. I've been so lucky to play in a lot of games with a lot of incredible people in this space, a lot of great storytellers. But there's a particular, chemistry. Don, your group with Lindy and Pruitt and everybody, there's an incredible chemistry there. And that's happening right here. We're all brothers. You ought to see the Discord. We're brothers and sisters at this point. Talk to each other all the time. They really take care of one another and really considerate of one another. And that's why we've made some really brave choices in this game. Ray broke my heart tonight. That's some crazy, like authentic, really like completely checked in. For me, that's the whole currency here, is that people are invested. I don't watch chess on Twitch because there's no like the emotional investment. It's why I can't watch poker, is everybody sitting there with sunglasses on and nobody's checked in because they're all looking so cool. Josh, you brought the thunder, you stole the show, you won the Oscar for best actor. You fucking killed it. That scene was you get to have somebody say something nice to you. Another reason I like you is you can't take praise. It's something we share. So I'm going to give you some more of it. You fucking crushed it. You totally understood the relationship. I love your contempt for your character and how you understand his pain. The difference between Meryl and the character I played before is that Eddie Strebeck was his pain turned inward. Meryl's pain is entirely turned outward, and he knows how to use it. He knows that he uses it in his life to push it forward. It's great. So much fun to play. And he got to be the real kind of puppet master son of a bitch at the end with Ren, and Lydia was amazing. And Lydia plays a really sweet, vulnerable character. And I love that we got to have this really raw black and white. It's not super troll. It's like a Tarantino movie. By the end of it's like, we're partners now. Say it. That was some hardcore shit. She really went somewhere with me. I really appreciate her. She's really lovely, and I've had so much fun getting to know Lydia. She's so great. And Tommy, I can't wait to play in a campaign with you. You made huge brave choices in this one, and you're going to be a killer DM. You're already a killer DM, I'm sure, but you're going to run a game that you're going to tear it up in. I can't wait. Charlie, you and Lindy, I would do your jail time. I would, I'm just ready. Just tell me when to walk into traffic for either one of you, and I'm ready to go. You're my two queens of tabletop role playing. You mean a lot to me, and I love the stories we're telling together, and I sincerely appreciate this opportunity to play with Don, who's a fucking champion, and I will never look at a TGI Fridays the same again. And as you look through the window of the TGI Fridays, it's the funniest thing I've heard in a really long time, and it's one of those things that's so funny, like I can't hold it. I can't contain it. It just bursts. Anyway, this has been so much fun. I have to go. My wife is going to kill me. We've been playing for 5.5 hours. You guys are amazing. Thank you for this. Bye.
Thank you, Trav, too. Bye. Let's go over to Lydia. Lydia, how are you doing?
I'm sorry, I'm still watching Travis. I'm doing great. Goodbye, Travis. Okay. I am focused. I'm doing so good. This was so great. This I think was probably the most like, I don't know, a part of a game I've ever felt like. Just starting with our session zeros where we got to go through and like add touches to all of the town. We got to make up all of the NPCs, or a lot of them. We got to like write little rumors about like the museum and all the other parts of town. Like that was so much fun. I was so nervous when we started because I'm typically so bad at being put on the spot to come up with something. Like I usually just like panic and then get like, nervous, and then I'd freeze. But that didn't happen during this game, which was great. It's happening now a little bit because I'm terrible at this part of the show. I'm sweating so much. Anyways, I loved this game. Ray and Josh, you guys broke my heart tonight. I want to read your teen like romance novel. Okay, if you guys could write that for me, I will read it over and over.
Fanfic. If anybody's got fanfic out there, let us know.
I would read the Staley Jacob fanfic all day. I am so surprised about what happened at the end. I was a little afraid of Travis when he made me say partner, but I just did it because I was so scared of him. This is great. And then I like how we always just call Tommy J. So Tommy, your butterfly beating its wings into the glass until it died also hurt me. I had a lot of goosebumps tonight, and I'm really sorry that I let you sink underground, Gigi, and I probably will never forgive myself. I will stay up thinking about that. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for an hour now. So anyways, I'm Lydia. You can find me on Twitter at Lydia Heals. I will be back here on Fridays when we do Tommy's game. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I sometimes play other places, but mostly it's just pictures of my dog. So thank you.
On the subject of Lydia, because Lydia is the worst at doing her own outros, I will also mention that on our YouTube, Lydia plays an incredible droid in our every now and again Star Wars one-shots, which you should go and check out for a really good time. And you should also go and check out Lydia in Black Hearts, which was a really great Swihunter campaign she was in. And you should also just send her nice things and pictures of crabs, because that's what she does for us on a nearly daily basis. And if you don't have crabs, send her Yoda. Baby Yoda specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Because we love Lydia.
Thank you. Lydia, Ren was like the heart of the group. Ren was like the heart of the group, and there were so many times where you had to make really tough choices, and seeing you make those choices was awesome every single time. Right up to the end tonight. And you know, the group needed Ren so much. And you know, you making the choices you did, that wasn't easy. So I loved watching it. I loved getting to play with you again. It's been a little while. All in all, the thing that I'll take away is how real everybody's characters were in the moments that were small in a coffee shop, or the moments that were bizarre, you know, this sort of like alternate world, Silent Hill meets Stephen King, you know, kind of moments where things are stretch the imagination, and everybody stretched their imagination for the big moments, and everybody settled into and breathed into the simple moments. Because of that, everybody's characters felt real the entire time. And that's amazing. And I know that there's going to be lots of other amazing stories for everybody heading on out. And I'm looking forward to being a part of them. So thank you all for giving me your time. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. As far as I go, I run other games. I'm online at Donathan Fry on Twitter. I write stuff. You can find me. I do stuff there. Just want to shout out all these amazing people. And with that, at last, give it over to Charlie.
If you ever have an idea for a game and you happen to know Jonathan Fry is going to answer your messages, just message him and then keep talking at him until he agrees to run the game that you have been cooking between you. And then convince him to playtest it on a stream with a handful of very talented people and continue to evolve it. And then convince him to keep playing with you forever and ever, because you will not be sorry. Is basically the entire lesson I have for everyone in chat. Don
Charlie,
is...
Did you and Don pinky swear at the beginning of this? Is that the first deal?
Let me tell you, Don is not the devil in this situation. I made him pinky swear with me, and there is no escape now. Mine for life. And I want to hugely shout out Don, who is this creative powerhouse who came up with so many incredible horror moments, as well as facilitating all of our little hopes, wishes to then stomp on. And I want to shout out Edelyn, who is a heart and soul who I know has been with us in her own way. And I want to wish them both a wonderful move when that finally happens very soon. And that you both enjoy the sunshine. And every time you look at that water, Jonathan Fry, just remember there are things in it. Horrible, terrible things. Horrible, horrible, terrible things that you made Edelyn scared of, you terrible man. So I'm going to wrap up because it has been a very long night, and it has been a wonderful Friday Night Frights finale with everyone. This has been the best PJ party, and like most sleepovers, none of us are getting very much sleep, I suspect. But I just want to say to you one last time for this season, try not to roll too many nat ones, because I'm not ready to do an outro yet. And I want to say a massive thank you to everyone in the Chaos Chorus who has fueled this, whether you are live, whether you are on YouTube, or whether you're just in Discord watching us shout. And yeah, may all your dice roll 6s, because then you get to set the truth. And friends, there are many secrets in Marsh Harbor and in the world. And sometimes you get to share them with friends. Just be careful which ones you share them with. Good night, everybody.